genetic engineering. The code that builds you is fundamentally flawed, not by design, but by negligence. Evolution, the universe's laziest engineer, slapped humanity together with biological duct tape and coding shortcuts that guarantee our eventual breakdown. Your DNA is a masterpiece of good enough, a sprawling mass of instructions riddled with planned obsolescence. Every time your cells divide, it's like making a photocopy of a photocopy. The image degrades, errors creep in, and the instructions get muddy. This is aging. It's not a noble process, it's a hardware failure written into your source code. But what if we could seize control of the editor? Welcome to the world of CRISPR-Cas9 and genetic engineering, our first and perhaps most profound path to biological immortality. Think of your genome as a vast library containing every instruction for building and running your body. Aging and disease are simply misprints, typos, and corrupted files within that library. CRISPR is a pair of molecular scissors guided by a programmable GPS that can navigate this library, find the specific sentence responsible for a genetic disease like Huntington's or cystic fibrosis, and snip it out with terrifying precision. Then it can paste in a corrected version. This isn't science fiction, it's happening now. Scientists have already used it to eliminate HIV from the genomes of mice and are conducting trials to cure genetic blindness in humans. But curing disease is just the opening act. The real endgame is rewriting the rules of aging itself. Researchers have identified specific genes, like the FOXO3 gene, that are strongly linked to longevity. So-called centenarian genes are found in people who live exceptionally long, healthy lives. The plan? Identify the exact code that gives them this biological advantage and, in essence, copy-paste it into the rest of us. It's a software patch for humanity. We could theoretically edit the genes responsible for cellular repair, making them hyper-efficient. We could enhance our cells' ability to clear out waste products, preventing the slow buildup of garbage that contributes to aging. We could instruct our DNA to maintain its integrity with perfect fidelity, eliminating the photocopy degradation. This isn't just about adding years to life, it's about adding life to years, extending our health span so that a 120-year-old could have the biological resilience of a 30-year-old. The ethical minefield is, of course, enormous. Designer babies, genetic class divides, unforeseen ecological consequences. The potential for hubris is off the charts. But the temptation to correct evolution's sloppy work, to debug our own source code and achieve not just a longer life, but a fundamentally better one, might be too powerful to resist. We are on the verge of becoming the architects of our own biology. Nanotechnology. Your body is a city, and right now, it's crumbling. Its infrastructure, your cells, your organs, your vascular system is under constant assault from pollution, disease, and the relentless wear and tear of time. The repair crews are slow, inefficient, and eventually, they just stop showing up. This is where the second path to immortality comes into play, and it operates on a scale so small, it redefines medicine. We're talking about nanotechnology, the engineering of microscopic machines or nanobots designed to patrol your bloodstream like a fleet of hyper-advanced biological maintenance drones. Imagine billions of these machines, each no larger than a blood cell injected into your body. Their mission? To seek and destroy. They would be programmed to identify and eliminate cancer cells one by one, long before they can form a tumor. They could hunt down and dismantle viruses and bacteria with mechanical precision, ending infectious diseases forever. But their purpose goes far beyond just fighting invaders. These nanobots would be the ultimate anti-aging task force. As you age, plaque builds up in your arteries, leading to heart disease. Nanobots could be dispatched to scrape this plaque away, keeping your circulatory system as clean as the day you were born. Misfolded proteins in the brain contribute to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Nanobots could identify these proteins, refold them correctly, or eliminate them before they can cause damage. They could repair damaged cellular structures, correct DNA replication errors in real time, and essentially perform continuous microscopic surgery on every part of your body simultaneously. This is not just a defensive strategy, it's a proactive one. Your biological infrastructure would be under constant, perfect maintenance. The very concept of age-related decline would become obsolete. The challenge, of course, is monumental. How do you power billions of these machines? How do you program them to avoid attacking healthy tissue? And the most terrifying question, what happens if they go rogue? A Grey Goose scenario where self-replicating nanobots consume all matter is a staple of dystopian sci-fi for a reason. But the potential payoff is a body that never truly ages, a biological machine kept in a state of perpetual, perfect repair by an army of invisible surgeons. Cryonics. Death is not an event, it's a process. And it's a process we might be able to pause. This is the central, audacious claim of cryonics, the third and most controversial path on our journey. The idea isn't to freeze you like a block of ice. That would destroy your cells. The modern technique is called vitrification. When a person is declared legally dead, a cryonics team steps in. They rapidly cool the body and replace the blood and water with a cryoprotectant solution, a kind of medical-grade antifreeze. This solution prevents the formation of ice crystals, which are the daggers that would otherwise shred your cellular structures. The body is then cooled to about negative 196 degrees Celsius or negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit and suspended in liquid nitrogen. At this temperature, all metabolic processes, all chemical activity effectively stops. You are not dead in the informational sense, you are paused. The theory is that the fundamental structures of your brain, the connections that encode your memories, your personality, your very self are preserved. The bet is a simple one, that future technology will be advanced enough to reverse the process. A civilization capable of curing the disease that killed you, reversing the damage of the aging process, and repairing any imperfections in the vitrification itself would, in theory, be able to reanimate you. You would wake up not as a zombie, but as a healthy individual in a future you can't even imagine. It's the ultimate ambulance ride, a trip to a hospital in the distant future. Critics are quick to dismiss it. They argue the damage from the freezing process is too great, that the information in the brain is irretrievably lost. They call it a pseudoscience, preying on the fears of the dying. But proponents fire back. What do you have to lose? If you're cremated or buried, the chance of revival is zero. With cryonics, the chance may be small, but it's not zero. It's a wager on the progress of science, a bet that what seems impossible today will be trivial tomorrow. Companies like Alcor and the Cryonics Institute already have hundreds of patients in suspension, waiting. They are pioneers of a strange new frontier, frozen travelers in time, banking everything on the hope that death is not an endpoint, but merely a technical problem waiting for a future solution. Mind uploading. You are not your body. You are the information processed by your brain. Your memories, your personality, your consciousness, it's all just data, a complex pattern of neural connections and electrical signals. Your physical form is just the wetware, the biological hardware running the software of your mind. And hardware fails. This is the foundational premise of mind uploading, the fourth and most philosophically dizzying path to immortality. If the self is data, then why can't we copy it? The goal is to create a perfect one-to-one map of a human brain, every neuron, every synapse, every connection, and upload that map to a powerful computer. Your consciousness would then exist as a purely digital entity, free from the frail, decaying prison of the body. You would live in a simulated reality, a digital afterlife of your own choosing. You could explore virtual worlds, experience any fantasy, learn at the speed of light, and communicate with other uploaded minds telepathically. The technical hurdles are staggering. The human brain has about 86 billion neurons, with trillions of connections. To map this in sufficient detail would require unimaginable computing power. We'd need to scan the brain at a molecular level, a process that would almost certainly be destructive to the original. This raises a terrifying philosophical question. Is the upload a copy, or is it you? If the original you is destroyed in the process, did you achieve immortality, or did you just create a digital ghost that thinks it's you while you cease to exist? This is the continuity of consciousness problem, and there's no easy answer. But if we could solve it, the possibilities are limitless. An uploaded mind could explore the galaxy as a disembodied probe, live for eons in vast computational substrates, and even merge with other minds to form a collective consciousness. It is the ultimate transcendence, the shedding of our biological shell to become beings of pure information. We would be, in every sense of the word, post-human. It's a future that is as terrifying as it is alluring, forcing us to ask the most fundamental question of all. What exactly are we trying to save? Senolytics. Your body is haunted. As you age, a certain percentage of your cells enter a state of suspended animation. They stop dividing, but they refuse to die. These are senescent cells, and they are, in essence, zombie cells. They linger in your tissues, secreting a cocktail of inflammatory proteins that damage the healthy cells around them. They are a major driver of the aging process, contributing to everything from arthritis and osteoporosis to heart disease and dementia. The fifth path to immortality isn't about rewriting your genes or uploading your mind. It's about exorcising these biological ghosts. This is the science of senolytics. Senolytics are a new class of drugs designed to do one thing: selectively hunt down and destroy senescent cells. By clearing out this cellular deadwood, they allow the body to regenerate and repair itself more effectively. In lab experiments, the results have been nothing short of astonishing. When old mice are treated with senolytic drugs, they become biologically younger. Their fur grows back thicker, their kidney function improves, their cardiovascular health is restored, and they can run farther and faster on their little treadmills. They live longer, healthier lives. Human trials are now underway, and the initial results are promising. This is a radically different approach to aging. For centuries, medicine has been playing a game of whack-a-mole, treating individual age-related diseases as they appear. Senolytics treat aging itself as the underlying disease. By targeting a root cause of the problem, the accumulation of zombie cells, we might be able to prevent or reverse a whole host of age-related conditions at once. It's a systemic solution to a systemic problem. The vision is a future where you take a senolytic pill once a year to clear out the cellular damage, effectively resetting your biological clock. It's not about achieving a godlike immortality, but a practical, rolling extension of your health span, a continuous spring cleaning for your body that keeps the ghosts of aging at bay. Caloric restriction. One of the most robust and consistent findings in longevity research is also the simplest and the most miserable. Path number 6 to a longer life doesn't involve high-tech labs or futuristic drugs. It involves eating less, a lot less. This is caloric restriction, the practice of reducing calorie intake by 20 to 40% below normal, while still consuming all essential nutrients. For decades, studies across a vast range of species, from yeast and worms to spiders, rodents, and monkeys, have shown that this single intervention can dramatically extend lifespan, sometimes by as much as 50%. The underlying mechanism is believed to be an ancient survival circuit. When an organism is starving, it switches from a growth and reproduction mode to a survival and maintenance mode. It diverts energy away from building new cells and toward repairing the ones it already has. It ramps up a process called autophagy, where cells literally eat their own damaged components, recycling them for fuel and clearing out the garbage. This cellular housekeeping has profound anti-aging effects. It reduces inflammation, improves insulin sensitivity, and protects against a wide range of age-related diseases. The problem? Severe caloric restriction is incredibly difficult for humans to maintain. It means a life of perpetual gnawing hunger. This is why the real cutting-edge research is focused on caloric restriction mimetics, drugs that trick the body into thinking it's starving without the actual starvation. Compounds like resveratrol, found in red wine, and metformin, a common diabetes drug, have been shown to activate some of the same longevity pathways as caloric restriction. The goal is to find a molecule that can flip the survival switch, giving us all the anti-aging benefits of caloric restriction without the misery of a near-starvation diet. It's a biological hack, an attempt to tap into our own ancient defense mechanisms and turn them into a fountain of youth. The secret to a longer life, it turns out, might be hidden in the biology of hunger.
Telomere extension. At the end of each of your chromosomes is a small protective cap, like the plastic tip on a shoelace. This is a telomere. Its job is to protect your genetic data from fraying every time a cell divides. But there's a problem. With each division, the telomeres get a little bit shorter. Eventually, they become so short that the cell can no longer divide safely, and it either dies or enters that zombie-like senescent state. This progressive shortening of telomeres is a fundamental biological clock, ticking down the lifespan of your cells. Path number 7 to immortality is all about learning how to rewind that clock. The key is an enzyme called telomerase. Telomerase's function is to rebuild and lengthen telomeres, and it's highly active in embryonic stem cells, allowing them to divide almost indefinitely. In most of our adult cells, however, the gene for telomerase is switched off. The idea is simple: turn it back on. In a landmark 2010 study, scientists engineered old mice with a switch that could reactivate their telomerase gene. The results were staggering. The mice were rejuvenated, their shortened telomeres were re-extended, their damaged tissues were repaired, and their signs of aging were reversed. They effectively grew younger. The immediate fear, however, is cancer. Cancer cells are infamous for reactivating telomerase, which is what allows them to achieve their own twisted form of immortality and divide uncontrollably. So, the challenge is to find a way to transiently activate telomerase long enough to repair our telomeres without giving cancer cells a permanent green light. Researchers are exploring gene therapies and drugs that could do just that: a temporary boost to rewind the clock, followed by a return to normal. It's a high-wire act, balancing rejuvenation against the risk of malignancy. But if we can master it, we could break one of the most fundamental limits on our lifespan, one shoelace tip at a time.
Replacement organs. Your body is a machine, and its parts wear out. Your heart, your kidneys, your liver, they can only take so much abuse before they fail. For most of history, organ failure was a death sentence. Today, we have transplantation, but it's a flawed solution, plagued by donor shortages and the risk of immune rejection. Path number 8 to immortality bypasses these problems entirely. It's about building brand new, custom-made replacement parts for your body. The future of organ replacement is unfolding in two revolutionary fields: therapeutic cloning and 3D bioprinting. In therapeutic cloning, scientists would take a skin cell from you, revert it to an embryonic-like state, creating induced pluripotent stem cells, and then coax those cells to grow into a perfect, genetically identical copy of the organ you need: a new heart, a new kidney, a new pancreas. Because it's your own DNA, your body would accept it without question. No rejection, no need for immunosuppressant drugs. 3D bioprinting takes this a step further. Imagine a specialized 3D printer that doesn't use plastic, but a bio-ink made of your own living cells. Layer by layer, it could print a complex organ, complete with all its intricate structures and blood vessels based on a precise MRI scan of your own body.
Scientists have already printed simpler structures like bladders, blood vessels, and cartilage that have been successfully implanted in patients. Printing a complex, solid organ like the heart is still a monumental challenge, but the progress is relentless. The ultimate vision is a future where you can simply have your aging or diseased organs swapped out for new, pristine, lab-grown replacements as easily as changing the tires on a car. Your consciousness, your self, remains, but the failing hardware is continuously upgraded. This is the ultimate expression of the body as a machine that can be maintained and repaired indefinitely, with an endless supply of spare parts.
The vampire treatment. For centuries, folklore has been filled with tales of the old feeding on the young to regain their vitality. It turns out there might be a terrifying grain of scientific truth to these legends. The ninth path to potential immortality is perhaps the most visceral and unsettling. Parabiosis, the practice of surgically joining the circulatory systems of two animals, one old and one young, so they share a common blood supply. When scientists perform this procedure on mice, something remarkable happens. The old mouse becomes younger. Its muscles become stronger, its brain becomes sharper, and its tissues begin to regenerate. The young blood seems to have a powerful, rejuvenating effect. Conversely, the young mouse ages prematurely, as if the old blood is poisoning it. The question is why? The blood is not a simple fluid, it's a complex signaling system filled with hormones, proteins, and growth factors that change as we age. The blood of a young animal is rich with factors that promote growth and repair, while the blood of an old animal is full of signals that promote inflammation and decline. The vampire treatment is all about identifying those youth factors in young blood and harnessing their power. Clinical trials are already underway, transfusing plasma from young donors into older patients with conditions like Alzheimer's, with some early but promising results. The goal isn't to create a ghoulish market for the blood of the young, but to isolate the specific molecules responsible for the rejuvenating effects and synthesize them in a lab. If we can create a drug that mimics the benefits of young blood, we could potentially reset the aging profile of our own tissues. It's a profoundly strange and slightly creepy idea, but it suggests that some of the secrets to reversing aging may be flowing through our very veins. Cybernetic augmentation. Our final path to immortality is a declaration of war on biology itself. It is the admission that the flesh is weak, that the organic machine is fundamentally flawed, and that the only way to achieve true longevity is to replace it. This is the path of cybernetic augmentation, the progressive merger of human and machine. It starts small. A cochlear implant to restore hearing, a retinal implant to restore sight, an advanced prosthetic limb that can be controlled by thought. But where does it end? The logical conclusion is the full-scale replacement of our biological parts with superior, more durable, synthetic alternatives. An artificial heart that can have a heart attack, mechanical lungs that can't get cancer, a synthetic brain neocortex connected to the cloud that supplements our own biological intelligence. This is the ship of Theseus paradox made real. If you replace every part of your body one by one with a mechanical equivalent, are you still you at the end of the process? Proponents of this transhumanist vision would say yes, absolutely. Your consciousness, your patterns of thought are what matter, not the substrate they run on. By systematically upgrading our bodies, we could become immune to disease, impervious to aging, and capable of feats far beyond our current limitations. We could have senses we can't even dream of. The ability to see in infrared, to hear ultrasonic sounds, to have a perfect searchable memory. We could become a new species, a hybrid of biology and technology, designed not by the blind process of evolution, but by our own intellect. It is the most radical departure from our humanity, a final defiant step to seize control of our own destiny and build a future where the limitations of the flesh are nothing more than a distant memory.